Well, good Monday evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bowling with the Fef, a platform for you to share your unique bowling story live on our YouTube channel. It's an exciting week in the bowling world, that's for sure. It's World Series week, and I'm going to be chronicling some of that action coming up before you know it. World Series Bowling 14 down in the Milwaukee area at Bolero Wauwatosa. It's actually underway already. Watch for the videos on the channel as I check out rounds 3 and 4 of the PBA Shark Championship, along with the 2 USA versus the World telecasts. You may have seen I guess we'll call it an exhibition match or captain's match between Jason Belmonte and Tommy Jones to kind of determine the matchups there. As you may have seen, Belmonte won pretty handily, shooting a 231 on those strange lanes at the Holler House, 2 of the oldest in America. But now they're at Bolero Wauwatosa competing for the Cheetah Championship right now. As a matter of fact, they're just getting underway in the final round of qualifying there. Joseph Grandin from San Pedro, California, leading the pack after 15 games, averaging 238. With BJ Moore pretty close to him there in that tournament field. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, the winner of the Cheetah Championship, or the 5 winners, or let's try again. 5 finalists from the Cheetah Championship will go to a telecast on FS1, 6 p.m. Wisconsin time on Monday, April 17th. And then the total pins from that also factor in the PBA World Championship as well. The finals for that are on regular Fox, Big Fox, Sunday, April 23rd. And that one is at 11 a.m. Wisconsin time. So lots of exciting stuff going on in the PBA. Flush in the Pocket, Derek Michaud. Hey, bud, how are you? Doing great. Hope you're doing well, too. Check out his channel. He's got some incredible guests, including Eric Forkel, Carolyn Doran Ballard, Del Ballard, and interviewing lots of the faces from years gone by on the PBA tour, and doing really well at it. So congratulations to you, Derek. Keep grinding out there. You've got great content over on your channel, Flush in the Pocket. Well, for the second consecutive year, I'm hoping for a little help in supporting one-to-one youth mentoring in Western Wisconsin. Bowl for Kids' Sake in our area is coming up next month. I'm on a team called David Bowie. The theme is Space Odyssey. Always great to rock the David Bowie style face paint without actually having to paint my face. So to support our cause, just head over to the donation page. You can see the link right there, bit.ly/BFKSFEF2023. It is case sensitive, and thanks in advance for your support. Speaking of support, can't mention support of this channel without Chip Magnet Salsa. Chip Magnet is an Eau Claire, Wisconsin business distributing quality salsa, relishes, and much more to stores in 38 states and Canada. And they've got a great deal for Bowling with the Fef viewers. Enter the promo code BWTF2023 at checkout, and you will enjoy 20% off of any website order of $30 or more. Limit 1 order per email address. And if you're in the Eau Claire area, you can find Chip Magnet all over the place. You can find it at places like Festival Foods, Woodman's, Eau Claire Cheese and Deli, Target, and plenty of others. You can always go to chipmagnetsalsa.com to get your fix. Chip Magnet, raise your snack standards. And a big thank you to Chip Magnet for supporting Bowling with the Fef. Well, our guest tonight has had quite a year in league bowling. He's had 11 USBC sanctioned 300s thus far. I don't know if there are many games left for him to get additional 300s, but one of his leagues is wrapping up for the year this coming week. But I wouldn't put another perfecto or two past him because he's been on such a heater so far this season. Mike Webber is from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and he is joining us live on the show tonight. Mike, it is a pleasure to have you on, and welcome to Bowling with the Pfeff.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to start out with the 300s because obviously that's kind of news of the moment. Like I said,
Right.
you've got 11 of them so far. I asked a couple of guys who you bowl with, in the same league about your accomplishments so far. Here's what a couple of them had to say. Check it out.
I think Mike Webber is a phenomenal bowler, and 11 300s. I've been bowling for 20 years. I don't have one, so he's a phenomenal bowler.
I think it's pretty impressive. I mean, it's a hard thing to do and takes a lot of skill, sort of. But at the same time, it's a pretty big feat to do and a good accomplishment.
So you have had 300s at Wagner's. You've had a 300 at Falls Bowl, Bullwinkles. Is there anything that you can kind of point out, either in your game, equipment, anything that's kind of changed, that's turned the tide to allow you to get all these honor scores this year?
I guess. I mean, I've gotten some newer equipment that's drilled well for me. I guess really the equipment hasn't really done a whole lot. I've definitely put in a lot more focus, and I've practiced a bunch more. Just tried to get my mental game to where it should be. Mainly that's pretty much what it is. I just worked on my game a little bit, tried to slow myself down, focus a little harder, don't get too frustrated. They always say have a short memory in bowling, and that's pretty much what it's been this year so far.
Yeah. When you get down to the 10th frame in something like that, and you've, had enough of them that
Right.
I'm sure it's become, you kind of have your routine down now.
Right.
Tell me about what you're doing, what you're thinking about to make the big shot work.
Really, it's, once you get to that 10th frame, it's, try to set my feet, forget about everything else, and just keep a good tempo is mainly my goal. And then just try not to get overexcited and just make sure you follow through.
Yeah, that's one of them right there that you shot at Wagner's in the Chip Magnet Classic League. Whoop.
That was my first of the year too.
Yeah. You were a sub at that point and are still technically on the
a sub list. Yeah.
Do other teams come after you and say, "Hey, can you bowl with us?"
I've had plenty of. Pardon me. 1 second, sorry. I lost my earbud.
Oh.
No, I've actually had a few people come to me and it's like, hey, if you're not bowling tonight, you want to come bowl? And I've actually had a lot of people ask if I wouldn't mind come subbing for their team, or come join them for a night or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Derek says congratulations on the success.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So was there a goal coming into this year, involving the 300s, or is that just something that's, it's just happened?
A couple years ago, I actually had another decent season. I had 7 of them. Okay. And then once, I really don't have a goal of how many I want to do in a year. It's just, I guess my goal is just to bowl as good as you can, really just stay focused and try to have a little fun with it at the same time.
Sure. Tell me if there is one that's maybe stood out from the rest. That was your first one that we just saw there, but is there one that was maybe a little special in your mind?
Actually, yeah. Not too long ago, I actually had a decent run at City High series, and actually when I led the night with 300, and I would have to say that was probably one of my better 300s I've ever thrown. It was really no question once it left my hands.
Yeah, we're looking at that right now. You ended up with 851 that night at Wagner's. Walk us through, what was it like to go through that 10th frame that we're seeing right now, and then the games to follow?
So I mean, before I go bowl, I take a breath, and then I'll pick a mark on where I want to put my feet, and then once I get my hand in the ball, I just take a big old deep breath, and then I just take my step, and then I just try to forget and let everything be natural.
Yeah.
And that one I pulled. That one was inside.
You didn't seem all that happy with.
No, as soon as I let go of that, I knew it was about 4 boards inside where I wanted to be, and it held.
Yeah,
I got lucky on that one, and then the next one, when I come up and throw, I plant well, I follow through well, and it was a great shot.
Yeah, I would think you got to have a little luck in there, right? I mean,
Definitely.
Even to hit 300 once.
Yeah, I mean, you can hit the pocket perfectly, and you can leave, 7-10 easily, or stone 5 pin, stone 8 pin. I mean, it doesn't take much not to get a strike. And I mean, there is some luck, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that was actually a really good shot. No, there's actually quite a bit of luck in this game, but through practice and I guess a little determination, you get good.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, do we have any more league dates for you coming up? I know we have the, kind of the roll off in the league that we both bowl in on Thursday nights. But are there any other chances for you to shoot through?
There's my Wednesday night league in Chippewa. Is a roll off night also, and then Thursday night is a roll off. So there's no more actual league nights. So I mean, I guess if I throw one in the roll offs, I mean, I don't know if that's considered a league night, but I got 2 more chances, really, I guess you could say.
Unless you sub in the summertime.
Yeah, unless I sub in the summertime.
Still part of the current season. I mean,
right. In a couple weeks, I'm actually planning on going to South Dakota and bowl in a tournament with a guy I used to bowl with named Tom Mason.
Oh yeah.
And out of Sioux Falls. He originates out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota now, and he invited me to come up and bowl in a tournament with him.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's had lots of success out that
way.
Yeah. So, yeah, he'll be good competition for you, that's for sure.
Oh
yeah. Let's kind of get into your bowling story. I know that you're living here now. Are you originally from this area, Eau Claire, Wisconsin?
Yeah, born and raised in Eau Claire.
Okay. All right. So how did you first get introduced to bowling?
Well, funny enough, I was about 5. A friend of mine was doing Saturday morning bowlings. It was Wagner's 66.5 lanes then.
Okay.
He couldn't make league. They were leaving to go somewhere. His mom actually called my mom to see if I could sub, and I did, and I fell in love with it, and from there it's been running at it pretty much. I wasn't the greatest bowler for a long time until I really hit men's league, and then I really started working on my identity in the game, I guess you could say, what works well for me, what I can do well, and pretty much just been trying to perfect it since.
Sure. I want to kind of set the scene here for people if they're not familiar with how that center used to be. You mentioned 66.5 lanes, 40 on one side, 26 on the other, and that 26 is what remains today. But I can remember, I did some juniors there when I was in college, and I can remember being on the low end, but having basically that whole 40 side essentially taken over.
Right.
Juniors. I mean, is that kind of what you experienced too?
Yeah. I mean, bowling kind of died out for a while. It just kind of wasn't as exciting, I guess, for some of the youth. And of lately, I guess it's really stride lately. I don't know if we're just promoting it better or we're just getting the kids more excited in it, because I got my 2 boys in it, and they kind of fought me for it for a little bit, but my oldest is really starting to his goal is he wants to beat me, be a better bowler than me, and I hope he does. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, some of that determination, that it really sets in, and you got to almost admire it.
Sure. When you were coming up through the ranks at Wagner's, did you have coaches in that program?
When I was younger, there is a legend around here. His name's Orlo, and he saw something in me, and he went up to my parents, is like, can I pick him up, or can you bring him to the bowling alley? And I just want to practice with them and work with them and teach them things. And he pretty much set it for me, and I understood the game better, and I wanted to try harder, and he just made it fun.
Yeah. How about tournaments? I know, you've obviously done a bunch as an adult, but was there a point in juniors where you decided to kind of take your talents to that next level and try some junior tournaments?
Yeah, actually, it was the Coke tournament back in the day, and it's called Pepsi now.
Yeah.
I actually won it one year, with a lot of luck. I coming in with a 80 average and ended up shooting a 210 game or something like that, which is huge. And it was exciting. So I wanted to try harder and just feel the same way of my scores again, and just try harder and harder and harder, and eventually, got closer.
Yeah. Were your parents involved in your growth in the sport?
My mother was, yes. My mother was a very good bowler back in the day. As I mean, she's still not a bad bowler by any means, but just better back in the day. Got older, once you get older, your game just goes away a little bit. But yeah, she tried to help me as much as she could until eventually I surpassed her, and then just kind of found my own way throughout the path after that.
Sure. Any opportunities in high school or college to join?
No, actually, there was no high school bowling when I was in high school. That didn't start till after I graduated high school, and then that was kind of a thing. Now it's I wish it was back when I was in high school, but now it's a thing now, and I wish I could have been a part of it, but too little, too late, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Different areas have it at different times. Okay. So DeVio wants to know what happened with bowling at Bullwinkle's. I'm assuming maybe he's talking juniors, or did you bowl at Bullwinkle's? Maybe.
No, I did all my bowling at Wagner's in juniors, and then I went to Chippewa for a little while for juniors.
Okay.
So it was Chippewa and Wagner's. I never did anything at Bullwinkle's.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know if there's any, if I got that right, DeVio. And if you were getting at something different, and you're still on with us, we can answer your question for sure. How about your physical game? Was it different back then? Did you have to kind of grow into it, or do you feel like your game has been pretty standard throughout?
I've actually changed it quite a bit. I used to have, I can't say used to, I still have a pretty high backswing, but it used to be even higher. I used to take a lot longer strides. I actually shortened everything up to slow my timing down, to make sure I'm not bringing the ball too far behind my back or crossing over, or, as you say, hit your ear on your follow through. So I shortened everything up and just took smaller steps, and that made huge gains for me.
Okay. So DeVio says we have 300 games at Bullwinkle's on the board. So they were wondering if you bowled with them at Bullwinkle's, and you have had at least one, right?
I think I got 3 there.
Okay.
Three or four. And my first 300 I've ever bowled was actually at Bullwinkle's.
Oh, okay.
On a Thursday night league, with very fairly early in my men's league career, I guess you could say. I was 19 years old, and I just got lucky one day.
Yeah.
And then 300s really never came that easy to me, and then I guess the more I practiced, the more I got used to my game and understood the lanes. It's almost, I can't say second nature, but it's easier, I guess you could say.
Sure. When when I was talking to your guys, I talked to Ryan Roach, who is one of, I guess you could say, your teammates. I mean, you're
Yeah.
pretty entrenched on that
Yeah.
visible fence team. So here's what he had to say when I asked him about your physical game.
He's got the purest ball. When he's throwing, he's lights out. I mean, he just does not miss. Fun to watch. Carries well. Lefty. Throws one of the best balls I've seen.
So, I mean, did it take time, an effort to get to that point? And if so, when did you feel like you kind of said, okay, now I've got the kind of game that I can really start to shoot some scores with?
Right. I guess I really don't know like exactly when, but I guess once I got a bit more confidence in myself, I guess I just, I wasn't so nervous. I wasn't trying super hard or over trying, I guess you should say. I guess I've always had a quiet bowling ball hitting the lanes. I don't know, it's just something naturally I always had. I've always had plenty of hand behind the ball. I guess the biggest thing is I just had to learn how to control it. I mean, you got these natural bowlers that have some of the best game I've seen, and they just don't know what to do with it. And I guess until you can figure out how to harness it and control it, I don't know. I guess I figured it out. I don't know exactly when. It just happened, and then I've just been trying to hang on to it as long as I can.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned that 300 that you had pretty early on in your adult career. What was it like to make that transition from juniors to adults?
Oh, it was night and day. I mean, I thought I would, can't say I was a good junior bowler, but I wasn't too bad. And then once I got into that level of competition, it was eye-opening. Just to see some of the greats around here, just, then, me trying to be not cocky, but cocky, with my bowling game, I guess you could say. And then you get in there and you just, your eyes get open and you go, oh boy, I need to work on some things.
Yeah. Yeah. And to, again, kind of set the scene for people. I mean, Eau Claire is a town of about 65,000, and we've got two houses here. But I mean, we're a relatively smaller city, yet we've got some pretty decent bowlers.
We got some talent around here. I mean, we really do. I mean, there's some great bowlers around here that'll give a lot of people a run for their money.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that kind of thing helped you, or at least motivated you?
Oh, indeed. Usually you bowl with your competition. Once you get into some extreme competition, you focus in, you really try to settle down and try hard. And, it doesn't always happen, but usually, once you are, around that competition, you naturally just get better.
Yeah, for sure. You had told me a while back that you had some success pretty early on at the state tournament, the Wisconsin USBC Open Championships. Do you remember, I guess, when you started going to state and when you really whacked them that one time?
Actually, yeah. My first men's state, well, let me start. I started men's league when I was 17 years old. I actually got I guess you could say, a permission slip from my mom saying that I can bowl in men's league. And so when state actually came around, I just turned 18 years old, and I think I had like a 150-ish average or whatever, nothing great. And I had a crazy weekend. I averaged like 230 for the weekend with a 150 average. And so I ended up taking second in all events, second in doubles. I had first in singles, and it was a huge weekend. And then, I'll never get to that point again, I guess you could say. Now with my average the way it is, damn near got to be perfect to win all that stuff. And, perfection is not an easy thing. Yeah. I guess, over the years, just the level of competition, I've just tried harder and tried to make sure I work on my game a little more.
Yeah. DeVio wants to know, ever thought about spectating the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club whenever there are tournaments at Wagner's? I bowl there, and it's such a variety of skill levels across the lanes. And he's right. I helped run District 10 a little bit for a
Okay.
season. I want to say maybe, gosh, I want to say 10, 12 years ago. And
Okay.
yeah, there is a lot of talent at the high school level for sure. And I know they travel around too. So they'll
Right.
hit Wagner's for one of their meets, but they'll also go to Falls and Colfax and other places. Have you ever seen
Right.
those meets?
I've seen a little bit of it. I guess I haven't really got a whole lot involved in it because I guess I never knew when they were bowling and never knew much of it back then. So, I mean, I'd definitely be interested to come watch.
Sure. Yeah. And you never know, maybe one of your sons ends up
That would be awesome.
someday. Okay, so there's also your personality. You're different than others just because everyone's unique, right?
Right.
Ray, who is the birthday boy today, I should mention.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Ray.
Had this to say about what you're like in league.
He's very humble. I mean, you wouldn't think that a person like his personality doesn't give off that he's as good a bowler as he is, even though he's a lefty. But he's very humble, down to earth, fun guy. Give him a couple Miller Lights, and the rest is a fun time.
Not
The
wrong.
floor is yours after that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I try to be as humble as I can because I mean, I know there's better out there than me. I mean, there's always better out there. I try not to be rude. I was raised with, I guess you could say, pretty good bowling etiquette. Congratulate when you can, high five, try to boost your self-esteem, I guess you could say. I just try to be polite as much as I can the way I was raised. And then, I guess when I get a few drinks in me, I start chatting up a little bit and try to have a little more fun, I guess you could say, a little more at ease, I guess you can say.
Sure. There was a week that I remember when Michael Keegan shot 300, and you were the first one to congratulate him. I mean,
Yeah.
you were right there.
No, it's fun to watch other people do, I guess what I've been doing this year. I've had an outstanding year. But I'm one of those guys. I don't care if I'm bowling against you or in a tournament with you. If I see something that I can help you with, I'll tell you. And if you don't want to listen, I guess that's up to you. But I try to help what I can. I try to coach as much as I can. I see things a little differently, I guess. I see the lanes pretty well. I understand the breakdown of the lane pretty good. And, some people don't understand that. And I just try to help with what I can.
Yeah. How about in the team environment? I mean, that's what men's leagues are. You're with, 4 or 5 person team. Brian had this to say about you as a teammate.
Webber's great. He's first year that I've bowled with him. It's a lot of fun. Makes it very competitive. We like to compete against each other, which makes it even more fun.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
mentioned, the quality of the talent around here. So to have someone like Brian, who has the high series in that Thursday league and is
Yes, he does.
up big numbers, I mean, that's got to be a big help, momentum wise, and to kind of push you too.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have that on your team. He is a phenomenal bowler. He's just talent galore. Fun guy to be around. We do push off each other quite a bit. We try to beat each other in series. We try to have a higher average than each other. It's just a friendly competition. We're not at each other's throat or yelling at each other or anything like that. We definitely feed off each other. Like I was saying before, you bowl to your talent that's around you. And when I have better bowlers like him around me, I bowl better. It's most people just naturally just try harder and don't overthink things, and they just throw a ball better.
Yeah, for sure. Luke Hoel is on with us live. Says Webber's a great dude, always willing to give out pointers. I'm assuming he's one of those that's kind of
Yep.
in your sphere there.
Yep, I've known Luke for a few years now. He's a very good dude, talented bowler. He's only been doing it for a few years, and boy, he's good.
Yeah.
Once he gets a real good understanding of the game, just look out. He's going to be dangerous.
Okay. Well, take it easy on me when you get that understanding. I'm around here too. Max says it's Mike effing Webber, and you a great coach.
Oh, thank you, Max.
Yeah.
I've known Max for a few years too. Also a great dude. Him and his wife actually are very fun people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. He's been a doubles partner of mine in a couple events, and always a good time. DeVio wants to know your thoughts on two-handed bowling.
I guess I've never really coached two-handed bowlers. I mean, it's definitely unique. I don't know a whole lot about it. I've never really dived into it a whole lot. You definitely, I don't even know how to word it really. I mean, it's there. Some people don't like it. Some people do. I guess I've never really messed with it much. So I guess I don't have a whole lot of insight on it. But I mean, obviously one of the best bowlers in the world is two-handed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's pros and cons to it. I mean, usually more pros. But I guess I don't have a whole lot on that really.
Sure. Yeah. And it's interesting, I've had coaches on that have said, it's kind of a learning experience for me too, when you have to, give advice to
Right.
your player, your recruit who is coming in two-handed, and it's not something that you do. But like you said, one of the best in the world, a few of the better ones in the world are two-handed now. So yeah, it's certainly the future, and it's not going anywhere. That's for sure. So, when when you talked about your family a little bit earlier on, you've got the two sons, your wife is a bowler.
Yep.
Dig on them a little bit. Tell us more about what they're doing in the sport and what that means to you.
Well, I met my wife in 2000. She knew I was a bowler, and she never really bowled a whole lot as a kid or whatever. I mean, she always had fun with it. And I guess the more we got closer, the more she wanted to bowl. And, now she actually bowls with my mother and my sister on the same team on Thursday nights.
Oh, cool.
And, she's a good bowler. She's a very accurate bowler. I can't say, I don't even know how to put it. She doesn't have the strongest ball in the world, I guess you could say. She, I need to work on her with getting some revolutions on it, but, in her eyes, she's happy where she's at. She doesn't really, she's out there having fun, just a night out with the girls. And then I got my oldest son, Jeremy. He has made strides in the last year. He gets excited when I have a good night. He's constantly always asking me, how's this ball going to work? Would that ball work well for me? Where should I move? He's always asking me questions about bowling, and which is great because that shows me he's interested and he's eager and he wants to learn. And then my youngest, Colin, he's just, he doesn't really care too much. He just gets up there, throws the ball, doesn't really have a care in the world. But, I mean, he still has fun with it, but he doesn't really, dedicate himself to bowling, kind of like I have over the years and my son wants to.
Sure. And that's cool that your wife has grown to, kind of love the sport along with you.
Right.
Mine has done the opposite. It's not her favorite, but hey,
No.
It takes all kinds, right?
Right.
Yeah. Phillips is on live, wants to say congratulations on a great season. He's been there for several of your 300s too,
yes.
As a part of that Thursday league, and he bowls Wednesdays at Bullwinkle's too. So
yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
seen several of them. You were the subject of a TV news story on our local NBC affiliate WEAU a while back,
Yeah.
and you mentioned that your father had a big impact on you. Did that extend into bowling, or was that more of a personal thing that was outside of the sport?
I mean, yes, it did extend into it. My dad was always very proud of what of a bowler I am. He was always eager and excited to see me bowl and my scores. And if I did a tournament, he always asked how did I do, or if I had a bad day, like, all right, it's okay, we'll get it next time, or And then when he passed away, I made it a personal goal to dedicate my bowling seasons to him, to do the best that I can. And ever since then, I don't know if I'm just focused more or just, trying to make him proud, but I have definitely had a big couple years, and it just ever since then, I guess my game it just gave me that little extra push.
Yeah. Yeah, you need that once in a while, don't you?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that as far as I know, I talked with Doug Schmidt from the 10 Pin Journal about this. As he says through his records, and they go through April of 2021, that the state record holder for 300s in a season is Al Zeitz Jr. He had 24 of them.
Oh wow!
In 2000, 2001. I mean, you're about halfway there. Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine that. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's good bowling.
Yeah. But, left-hander.
Right.
Quite a few revs. So it's kind of a common denominator.
There's a common denominator. I mean, there's a lot of people that give lefties crap. You get the whole lane to yourself. You got nobody to mess up your oil. I mean, there's pros and cons to that. I mean, if you have, I guess, yeah, I mean, like if you have nobody on the left side of your lane, yeah, you can mold your own shot down. You can set your own break point. But if you're not, and I guess in my eyes, if you're not accurate enough or don't understand the game a little bit, I mean, it's not going to matter. I mean, you kind of got to understand where the ball is going to go, how it's going to break, and if you're not familiar enough with the breakdown, I mean, lefty or righty, it's not going to matter.
Sure. And the one thing I always think of is the longer formats, because if you're stuck in transition, it's different than when you've got 4 or 5 other guys breaking down the shot at the same time, right?
Exactly, very much so. For instance, I shot match games, in January, and I was one of 3 lefties on the whole squad, and I had no lefty with me. And once I got to game 7 and 8, I had the transition was terrible. I had nothing that I could do to get it to hold the pocket, or once I get through it, or if I was outside the line a little bit, it went long. If I was inside of it, it went Brooklyn. I had no way to break down that shot and get a decent break point for me.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So this point forward, I mean, you have the 300s, and I've got video of one more that I can throw up there while as we look at Mike's backside. But tell me about kind of where you go from here. Do you move on to different types of tournaments? CBA, PBA regionals, anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I in the summertime I want to try to get into some CBAs in the cities and give that a run and see what I can do, and if I can do well in that or score well in that, and maybe try some regionals, and I guess keep pushing the envelope if it goes well for me.
Yeah. What what do you think your future holds? I mean, as far as maybe big long-term goals.
I mean, the biggest goal obviously is to try to become pro, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. Yeah. But I mean, never know. Also, things might change. Things might get worse, might get better. You never know from day to day, really. But I mean, yeah, long term, I would like to like to be on TV throwing a bowling ball.
Yeah. Well, just remember your buddies from here in Eau Claire when that happens. Take us along for the ride and all that good stuff.
Definitely.
So, we do a thing on the show called Off the Sheet, and that's where I ask you to challenge somebody else. And it doesn't have to be the greatest bowler in the world, but, somebody like us, somebody who's passionate about the sport and has a unique story to tell, to then appear on a future episode. So, Mike Webber, who would you like to challenge to be on?
I would like to challenge Matt Prozac.
Okay. All right. And tell us why.
Matt Prozac, me and him, he is another bowler that I bowled with for a few years now, and he is such a good bowler. But he, I can't say he lacks confidence, but I don't know if he just doesn't have enough confidence in himself. But I mean, once that boy gets locked in, there's not much that can beat him. I mean, he's got a strong ball. He's got lots of revs. He's a very accurate bowler. He's a humbling bowler. He's just another guy that can do really big things if he pushes himself a little, pushes himself and gets into some big tournaments. Maybe do some CBAs and get his name out there. You never know. Yeah. He's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt had a huge weekend in our association tournament, including a 300. If you follow the Facebook group, you've seen the last strike in that. And there's a funny story about Matt, too, because I was bowling a match against him. Gosh, this must have been maybe a year ago in one of Trey Henriksmeyer's sweepers at
okay.
And before the match, I told him, okay, if I beat you, you have to come on the show. And okay. I think I kind of fueled his tank on that. I mean, right. It was not even close. But Matt, if you're watching and you're interested in taking Mike up on his challenge, let me know. You know where I'm at on Facebook or bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com on email, and we'll make that happen. Flush in the Pocket Derek wants to know if you are on a shirt staff. If not, he knows of a great brand of shirts you can buy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I know about that, but are you on a shirt staff right now?
Actually, no, I'm not. I don't have any type of sponsor shirts or anything of that sort or anything like that. So I will definitely look into it.
Okay, there you go. Our next live show, I should say, is going to be a little bit. It's, of course, World Series of Bowling week, and I'll be down there at the end of this week. But we do have one coming up that I do want to let you know about toward the end of the month on Monday, April 24th. And this is a bowler that everybody might know of. Her name is Stephanie Johnson. She is originally from Illinois and now bowling out of Texas. She's going to be on Monday, April 24th at 7 p.m. Central. She'll discuss her outstanding bowling career and help us preview the 2023 PWBA Tour, which gets underway May 4th in Stockton, California. So be sure and join us for that. But Mike, thank you so much for coming on, and congratulations on what has been a dream season so far.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. And thanks to all of you who have checked us out, either live or on replay. Certainly appreciate it. From there, be just and fear not. And we will see you next time.